Imagine for a moment that your memories are like a perfectly preserved photograph album, each picture a precise snapshot of an event, filed away neatly. Now imagine discovering that some of those photos might be altered, or even completely fabricated, without you even realizing it. It's a bit unsettling, isn't it? Welcome. Today we're going to explore one of the most fascinating and at times controversial areas of psychology, the science of recovered memories. This isn't just an academic discussion. It touches on personal experiences, legal cases, and the very nature of truth itself. We'll delve into what research truly shows about recalling traumatic events that were previously forgotten, and why this topic sparked what many call the memory wars. At the heart of our discussion is the concept of a recovered memory. This refers to an experience where someone suddenly remembers a past event, often a traumatic one like abuse, that they had no conscious recollection of before. These memories frequently surface much later in adulthood, sometimes during therapy. For many years, a related idea, repressed memory, gained traction. This notion, stemming from early Freudian theory, suggested that intensely traumatic experiences could be unconsciously blocked from awareness, only to be retrieved later in a complete, pristine form. However, and this is crucial, the scientific community has largely moved away from the idea of repressed memory as a mechanism for specific, pristine recall. The evidence simply doesn't support it. Instead, what robust research consistently shows is the incredibly reconstructive and highly malleable nature of human memory. Think of your memory not as a video recorder, faithfully capturing every detail, but more like a storyteller. Each time you recall an event, your brain doesn't just play back a file, it reconstructs the story. It fills in gaps, adds details based on current knowledge or suggestions, and even revises parts based on new information. This process makes our memories incredibly flexible, but also, at times, prone to error. This brings us to a critical concept, false memory. Pioneering work by cognitive psychologist Elizabeth Loftus has dramatically demonstrated that false memories, recollections of events that never actually happened, can be easily created or implanted. Her research shows that subtle suggestions, leading questions, or even just repeated questioning can lead individuals to confidently remember things that are entirely untrue. This isn't about people intentionally lying. It's about the inherent suggestibility of our minds. Our memories can incorporate external information without us even realizing it, especially misleading suggestions. Children, for example, are particularly vulnerable to such influences due to their developing cognitive processes. The intense public and scientific debate surrounding these concepts, particularly in the 1990s, became famously known as the memory wars. During this period, a form of therapy called recovered memory therapy, or RMT, gained prominence. This approach often utilized techniques like hypnosis, guided imagery, journaling, or even age regression, with the explicit goal of helping patients recover forgotten traumatic memories. However, these very techniques became a central point of controversy. Critics, including many memory researchers, argued that such methods were unproven and, more alarmingly, carried a significant risk of inadvertently implanting false memories rather than recovering true ones. Professional organizations like the American Psychiatric Association and the American Psychological Association have since issued guidelines emphasizing the potential for unintentionally creating false memories during therapy. They strongly caution against suggestive techniques.
The consequences of this period were profound. Individuals genuinely suffering from trauma sought healing, but the therapeutic landscape was fraught with uncertainty. In some devastating instances, families were torn apart by accusations stemming from memories recovered through these controversial methods. We saw legal cases, like that of George Franklin, where convictions based on recovered memories were later overturned due to the questionable reliability of the evidence. Social worker Diane Humanansky faced significant legal verdicts due to patients making false accusations linked to her use of suggestive therapeutic techniques. So, where do we stand today? The scientific and professional consensus has largely shifted. The concept of unconscious repression as a mechanism for the specific, pristine recall of trauma is now largely discredited within psychology and psychiatry. Similarly, recovered memory therapy, in its historical form, is considered scientifically unvalidated and potentially harmful due to the risk of implanting false memories. The future outlook emphasizes a continued scientific understanding of memory as highly reconstructive and inherently susceptible to suggestion. It underscores the critical importance of ethical therapeutic practices that avoid leading or suggestive techniques. For mental health professionals, the adherence to guidelines that caution against the implantation of false memories is paramount. The lessons learned from the memory wars are crucial. They remind us that while our memories shape who we are, they are not infallible records. They are dynamic, living narratives, influenced by countless factors. Understanding this helps us approach personal recollections, and those of others, with both empathy and an informed, critical perspective. It encourages us to seek truth not just in what we recall, but in what science has rigorously shown us about the remarkable, yet sometimes fragile, nature of human memory. Thank you for joining me on this important exploration. I hope it's provided a clearer understanding of memory, evidence, and the complex journey of recovered memories.